near touch and back again. As his path blocked by two Swansea men. Matthew Lloyd, the readjustment for Dale McIntosh, off ball. John Neil Jenkins, clean through. Excellent try. Good change of angle from Jenkins. John, no relation. Got together, Matthew back. Gavin Jones can get in here. What a tackle by Taylor. But Jenkins is second. Oh, this is good play from Pontypridd. And they have the Heineken League champions on the rack here.
Executed move from the scrum with full-back Matthew back slicing through. Meath and Pontypridd have emptied down to 14 men, but they managed to make the scoreline look a little more respectable, with outside half Gavin Jones squeezing in the corner. Final score, Meath.
Chwaraewr a dealltwriaeth lawn a goleuedig o'r dasg o'i flan. Y tro hwn, olwyr yn pasio'n chwym a Ceri Thomas yn croesi yn y gornel. Daeth 9 cais i Pontypridd. Y trydydd yn dod o lein. Dyn McIntosh yn gwibio fel mellten ar ôl derbyn y bêl. Blaenwyr diflino yn ennill y bêl ar y llawr a'r olwyr yn perffaithio i sgiliau. Amserodd Gavin Jones i'r hediad yn berffaith a'r dorf yn dathlu ac yn edmygu'r cais. Daeth ail gais i David Manley ar ôl i'r holl chwaraewyr chwarae'r rhan. Roedd Neil Jenkins yn wir a thrylyll. Rhyfedd fel mae e'n disgwyl yn faswr cyflawn tra'n chwarae i'w glwb, yn llawn egni, yn llawn syniadau, a'r mewnwyr yn mynnu i fod e'n rhedeg mewn i'r bêl. Cafwyd perfformiadau grymus gan nifer o flaenwyr y tîm, a mae'r ddau yn yr ail reng, Prosser a Rowley, yn siŵr o gael eu chydnabod ar y llwyfan ryngwladol yn y dyfodol agos. Roedd chweched cais Pontypridd yn glasur, a'r rhaid i chynnwys yn rhestr ceisiau'r flwyddyn. Sgubwyd y dyfnant o'r neilltu. Mark Rowley a'r blaenwyr eraill yn barod i'r redeg, dwylo da a sicr yn ryddhau'r olwyr. Ac yna, blaenwyr yn ymuno yn yr ymosodiadau ac yn ryddhau ar yr amser iawn. Ar ôl symud o un pen i'r llall, daeth cyfle i David Manley ac yn cefnogi ar y tu fas oedd y gŵr pengoch a de Gary Given. Cais byth gofiadwy.
It was soon to come, as it was he who set up what proved to be the one and only try of the match, scored eventually by David Manley. 8-0 up at half-time then, but even the most
And Steele Lewis on the scissors. Hands back inside to Mark Spiller. Paul John waits, just a yard short. Jenkins. And John again on that narrow side. Gavin Jones, a little jink. Back to Spiller. And Pontypool penalised for offside. Still this great pressure exerted by the Pontypridd forwards. Edging closer. Just a yard from that Pontypool goal line. Black and white jerseys burrowing, and one has gone over, and Robert Yemen has given the try. McIntosh and John. Oh, it's a lovely pass into space, and it's Gavin Jones taking it at full pace. Sidesteps one. He's got Bledin Taylor coming across, and Taylor has missed him, and that's a super try for the Pontypridd fullback. But what a good pass to launch it. This is good play by Pontypridd. John, Jenkins. With no way through there, but it's going to come back. It nearly always does. John again. Steele Lewis. A little grubber kick through for Manley. And that's a brave take by Paul Armstrong, but it's back with Pontypridd. Paul John. And a little into passing with Steele Lewis. And Steele Lewis scores. Lloyd controls at the back. John. Jenkins into space, and a break again from the outside half. Now the chip intended for Manley, and Bledin Taylor's going across as well. Oh, that's a super bounce though. A lucky bounce you may say, but the kick was inch perfect, and Manley followed. Prosser. Storming play again from Pontypridd, and Pooler are backpedaling all the time. Jenkins, Steele Lewis, Jason Lewis, this is Jason through. Where was the Pontypool defence? Question. So Pontypridd started all over again.
Owen Robbins, and Jenkins has gone on the loop, and Jenkins will get there himself. Well, anything that Pontypridd are trying to do here, even kicking out of defence, and it makes a difference between them. Now Gavin Jones decides against kicking, opts for the scissors with Neil Jenkins. A long pass out to Robbins. Robbins, a nice shimmy with Paul John and Jenkins inside, and Jenkins has been put clear here for his second try, and it's a canter. Steele Lewis. Jenkins with the support. Oh, lovely pass. A fraction of a second, his hands were in connection with the ball, and this is the support now from Bazzani and Greg Prosser. He won't go all the way, but Paul John will, and that's a super try. Backs and forwards. Bazzani has robbed it back for Pontypridd, and Gavin Jones in the line now. Steele Lewis with Manley outside. Manley loves to dart back inside. He stayed on his feet just those precious seconds, now ripped by Jason Lewis and Phil John and Paul John. And here we go again. It's Pontypridd on the attack once again, and it's Owen Robbins who's going in for the corner. Oh, this is good stuff. And it goes again. It's Jason Lewis with support coming in from Phil Thomas and John Jenkins. Quick hands, quick support, and it ends up surely in another try, and it's Manley who's gone over.
That Ponty's confidence was badly dented. Neil Jenkins' boot kept them head on points, but it wasn't until Steele Lewis straightened the line that the joint leaders were able to come off the ropes. Eventually, man of the match, Richie Collins, delivers the knockout blow. But after such a substandard performance, how did he see the
Welsh squad, but proved a point against great rival Robert Howley with a try as Ponty made a second-half comeback. And from their coach, an appeal for Welsh fans to support
equilibrium all in the equation. The pass to Manley, measured to perfection. With Abertillery at 6s and 7s, Pontypridd's 4 and 5 were on hand to allow Manley to first pick up the ball and then his knees for the home side's 8th try. And Neil Jenkins tested the odds once more, gambling that the aerodynamics of the chip and the rebound resilience of the surface would allow him to gather and give Ponty a final 12th try.
Into the gap, looks for Manley outside, again looks, checks back inside. Neil Jenkins is there in support. Chris Scott with the all-important tackle, but it's still alive for Pontypridd. Rowley has it, Matthew Lloyd is in there. Paul John comes to the blind side, too many men there. Third time it comes back for Pontypridd, but Neath have had a chance to regroup defensively, and they're keeping them out at the moment. Steele Lewis looks back inside, has the gap opened up, not quite enough. Paul John darts across, and there's the try. It had to come. Eventually to Steele Lewis, the shoulder charge tackle from Glyn Llewellyn. Again, the Pontypridd 8 to regroup quicker. Jenkins to Matthew Lloyd. Scott with a tackle, but Lloyd lays it back. Collins again on hand. Now then, there's men spare for Pontypridd. Jenkins doesn't need them. He scored himself. It's not just kicks that this man gets.
The Ponty juggernaut just rumbles on until Phil John plays it being Paul John, just long enough to score. But there was no doubting the identity of the next scorer. Just watch number 6 Kingsley Jones' involvement in power finishing. Ever since the Cup exploits of St Peter's 2 seasons ago, Division 1 teams have treated the Minnows with great respect. In fielding a more or less full-strength side, Pontypridd paid their visitors a great compliment. The Tydians probably wish they hadn't, as Jason Lewis clicks up the ratchet another notch. And with the Ponty forwards exerting enormous pressure, it was understandable that the ilks wilted a little. As the cracks appeared, so did the opportunities. Paul John solos in for the first of his pair of tries. But anything the backs can do, the donkeys can equal. Instead of the sidestep, a good old-fashioned handoff gets Kingsley Jones his pair. With South African hospitality a dim and distant memory, Pontypridd may well have enjoyed their own raucous drift. But while the spoils went to the victors, the medals for gallantry went...
All of the Predators